Hey guys, Superboy Productions here, and to kick off the start of the new year, I've made 6 figures to celebrate the release of Young Justice Season 3. Now, I originally saw Young Justice back in 2015 when it was on Netflix. I binged the first 2 seasons in a few months, but at the time I wasn't a customizer, and so I decided that since now I am, to make the main team in time for the release of Season 3, which is today. All these figures only took me about 3 weeks to make. They weren't that hard to do. But yeah, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the showcase video. Alright, so starting off with the first figure we have here is Nightwing, and I'll give you guys a full 360 of him. Now, I do want to start off by saying, because some of you are probably wondering why I have the Young Justice team in their original outfits from Season 1, and then I have Nightwing here in his outfit from Season 2. Well, these figures aren't exactly based off of Season 1. I just chose what outfits I liked based on each one. So that's why instead of Robin, I have Nightwing. But yeah, so starting from the top, the hairpiece was one of those standard Lego hairpieces, those old standard flat hairpieces. I just sculpted on it. It was a black hairpiece. I carved out the front and then I sculpted on it for the bangs. Then the head, I painted the mask. And I did paint the neck on the head. Then the shoulder pads are sculpted, the front chest is sculpted, and the belt is also sculpted, the pouch is on the belt. I decided to go with as much 3D elements as I could, and since it would probably look better if the chest was sculpted for the Nightwing emblem, that's why I did that, and the shoulder pads also look better sculpted, so that's why I decided to sculpt almost all the details on him. I just thought it would look better and probably be more accurate. Now, if I get his sticks out of the way so you can see the figure better. These sticks that I gave him were actually 2 pieces that I was going to give to my Black Widow from Infinity War last year. But I never did, and they are magnetic, so they can hold together. Now, I don't remember, since it's been a while since I've seen Young Justice, I don't remember if his staff was at all magnetic or clipped together, or it was just stayed as 2 separate pieces. But I did make it magnetic. The belt is made out of electrical tape. It's a little hard to see since he's all black. And then the little holster there is made out of 2 toothpicks that I cut and glued onto some more electrical tape. And the belt does separate when you remove the torso from the legs. I didn't make the belt all one piece. I made it separate, so I'll give you guys a better look at the legs and the holster there. So that's really about it. Not much else to say about Nightwing. Now we can move on to the next one. Alright, so next up here we have Aqualad, and I gave you guys a full 360 of him. Now this figure was very simple, probably the easiest to make out of the 6 figures I have made. Starting from the top, the hairpiece was just a blonde hairpiece that I took from a Draco Malfoy figure from the Harry Potter collectible minifigure series, I think it was. And the head is hand-painted by me. Then all the details are really self-explanatory. The black lines on the torso wrap around to the back and the sides, and then the tattoos on his arms do wrap around the inside of the arms. I just have a problem with the paint rubbing a lot, so I gotta keep touching it up, but other than that, it's fine. Then the little Atlantis symbol was sculpted on, and the feet are painted in my own tan color, and then I sealed them so the paint wouldn't chip off, because I had to mix that color, and I didn't really want to touch it up in case it chipped, even though it does chip a little bit, even though it's sealed. Now, for his accessory, his backpack, I sculpted the backpack and glued it onto these electrical tape straps, and then I gave him these 2 Asajj Ventress lightsaber hilts, so they can clip onto the backpack. I glued on 2, I guess you call them pegs. There were 2 it was a black bar piece that I cut little pieces off of it, and then I glued it on to the back of the backpack, so his sword hilts can hold on his back just like in the show. And for the water look, I wasn't going to give him standard blades since I felt that would look too much like lightsabers. So instead, I just have these water pieces that I clip on to the hilts that make it look like his water swords, which I guess does kind of look like water. But so that's really about it for Aqualad, and I guess we can keep going. Up here we have Kid Flash, and this figure was sort of tedious to do because of the yellow paint. If you notice, the boots are chipping. It's part of the reason why I sealed Aqualad's feet, because I knew this would happen. The boots just end up chipping. But so starting from the top, the hair was just one of those Superman hair pieces, the ones from the Batman vs Superman sets. I sanded off the bottom, and then I sculpted the goggles onto the front. I did plan to make the goggles magnetic so I could stick them onto his face or put them on his head, but that didn't happen, and so for right now they're just stuck to the top of his head and attached to the hairpiece, which I'm fine with that. I don't really care. Then the little wings or lightning bolts, whatever you want to call them, on the sides of his head are also sculpted, and all the paintwork is really self-explanatory. The arms have electrical tape wrapped around them, and the shoulder pads are sculpted. But yeah, that's really about it for Kid Flash. Not much else to say. Artemis is probably my favorite figure in this showcase, and probably one of my favorite characters from the show. This figure has a lot of details. I try to go all out with this figure, as I did with all the other figures. I try to give them a lot of 3D elements and stuff. But so starting from the top, the hair was a Widow's Peak hairpiece. I sanded off the front of it, and then I also sanded off the sideburns and glued on a toothpick for the band to hold her hair, and then I sculpted the ponytail. There's a little indent from when I pressed on the sculpt. It's not too noticeable in certain lighting, but other times you can't see it. Then the head was the Hermione Granger head from the Harry Potter collectible minifigure series. I painted the mask green, and then the quiver is a regular Lego quiver. I painted and sealed it so the paint wouldn't chip. It's wrapped in electrical tape, and the straps for her quiver are also electrical tape. It is removable. I'm probably not going to take it off right now since it is hard to get these things back on and off. But the arms were just regular flesh arms, and I glued electrical tape for like her gloves and then the band on her arm, and that is on both sides. The chest was sculpted, and I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell, but I did sculpt the chest a little bit on the figure. And then the belt is made from electrical tape, and I glued on these cardboard pieces for the pouches. The little emblem is sculpted, and then the legs were basically just painted. The details does go around all four sides of the legs, does wrap around. And now for her weapons, I have this arrow, which is really just like a target arrow. I saw her in a photo holding this arrow, and so that's why I decided to make it. And then the bow was just regular Lego compound bow. I cut off the arrow, glued my own string, painted and sealed my own green color. And I did make this other arrow, since she does in the show, she uses both those arrows, those like target arrows or whatever you want to call them, and she uses these pointed arrows, so I took the tip from the compound bow and I made her another arrow. This feature isn't really, it's not an intended feature, it just works because of how I did the hair. But if I lift up the head a little bit, I can take the extra arrow and I can slide it back there. And if I put her head back down, it looks like she's got an arrow there with her quiver. I don't know, it's just, it works as an extra storage unit. It was part of the figure. It was unintentional, but it does work. But, yeah, so Artemis. Alright, so here we have Superboy, and this figure was actually probably a little bit more simple than Aqualad. There was really not much that needed to be done, even though Aqualad is just a few lines and a backpack. I don't know, they were both really simple, not much needed to be done on either of them. So I don't know which you would consider the simplest, but starting from the top, the hair was just a standard messy Lego hairpiece. The head is the Superman head with the laser eyes on the back. I didn't really do anything to it, I just decided to keep that head. Then the torso, I sculpted the muscles, painted the emblem. The arms were Robin arms from the Lego Batman movie sets, and I used those as basically a template to make the sleeves. And then the belt is made of electrical tape, does wrap around the figure. And then the little buckle is also a piece of electrical tape that I glued on. And then the boots were just dark brown boots painted onto a pair of dark blue legs. And yeah, that's really about it for Superboy. And finally, we have Miss Martian. Now, this figure, I decided to make this outfit because I like this outfit a little more than the plain black outfit she wears in Season 2, which is just basically her stealth suit from season 1. And then she just has shorter hair. I like the look better with the longer hair, and I like this outfit better. It's a little more iconic, and there was more to it than just a plain black outfit with the red X on it. But so starting from the top, the hair was it was a Lego Friends hairpiece, I think, and then I painted it in my own brown color. It appears darker on camera than it actually is. And then the head was just a green head. I painted my own face onto it. I did add freckles onto the face. They're just really hard to see because they blend in with the green, but they are there. And then the cape was a standard Lego dark blue cape, which I painted the back of it in my own blue. And then the torso, I sanded the curves into the torso. I sculpted on the chest. Then the arms were just green arms with electrical tape wrapped around them. The top of the sleeves painted. The skirt was made from electrical tape, and the boots have electrical tape wrapped around them. And like usual, goes on all 4 sides of the legs. Just a little hard to move them because of the skirt, but yeah, so really that's it for Miss Martian, and now we can go ahead and wrap up this video. Alright guys, so that about wraps up this video. Really hope you guys liked it as much as I enjoyed making these figures. Now, there's not really much for me to show you. I did mention a lot of what I plan to do in my New Year's video, all the figures I plan to make, and the showcases I plan to do. If you guys don't care to watch that video and you just want to know what I have planned for the year, check my About tab on the channel. I've posted every single showcase that I plan to do this year. Figures that I'm currently working on, though, I still haven't been able to finish Bumblebee or Charlie Watson. The hairpiece here is a stand-in until I get the one that I ordered. So these figures, you should expect a showcase mid-January. And then Spider-Gwen, I plan to showcase her really soon. I've had her done for a while, still haven't showcased her. But yeah, that's really about it for my plans for right now. But like I said, really hope you guys liked the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like down below. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. And yeah, so bye.